Heinkel! This is your answer? And still you'd call yourself a knight? As daughter to a true knight, I know their pride is staked upon fair and honorable combat. Release your hostage! Then stand and face us! No more running, coward!
Ah! You invoke your father after betraying him?
He's headed for the airship!
That makes no sense. Why should he flee? His aim is the Vestal, not the king.
He's baiting us?
Still, we have to give chase. We'll lose him and the ship. Well, I'm game to brave a trap.
I'm following you.
Onions, let's go!
Right.
Ah, good. You came. You're a bold lot, if not a smart one. This ship is a prison you entered willingly. Nowhere to run now, save down. Quickly! Really, I must thank you for taking the bait so eagerly. It's earned you a lavish cruise through the clouds, Vestal. And for your friends, a career as ballast.
You're a prisoner here, same as us! No more tricks, Heinkel!
A knight without chivalry is a common bully. I'll see you stripped of that title here and now.
You oughtn't test your elders, girl. I thought to bring you home in chains. But no. All but the Vestal will end here as dew upon my blade. You'll die with the rest, traitor!
course we are. I'm a crack pilot, apparently. Now find something to hold on to!
The kingdom of Kaldisla owes you all a vast debt. I thank you from my heart of hearts. You, more than anyone, 'tis. A nightmare was visited upon you and your home, and still you rose up to defend ours. I'm certain your feats have earned Owen a peaceful rest. If you are willing, I would gladly see you take up his sword. Will you continue to keep this land safe, son?
You honor me, Your Highness, but I cannot accept. I've promised on Yes that I'll join her on her journey.
Kaldisla shall be poorer for losing you. Know that you will ever have a home here. The Eternian airship is yours to use as you will. Take it with my blessing. There's not a man in the kingdom able to pilot it anyway. I leave the matter of that horrible chasm to you. I have faith you'll see it unmade. May the crystals keep you in your journey.
Seems I've found a reason to come along. Now, my ladies, all you need do is simply speak the word, and I shall whisk you off to the very ends of existence.
And you're really sure that wasn't just a fluke before?
Rest assured, my dear, I never fail to properly escort a lady.
Agnes, will you tell us why they were chasing you?
The Sky Knights are a branch of the Eternian forces. The Duchy of Eternia has put forth an agenda of anti-crystalism.
Anti-crystalism?
A new way of thinking, based upon the idea of a society no longer dependent upon the crystals. It brands the crystal orthodoxy as a heretic faith, and the Vestals its minions. It was the philosophy I was raised upon. When the chasm appeared, every one of the Eternian forces was given the order to capture the Vestals. They said the Vestals and the crystals they tend were the sinkhole's cause.
That's not possible! Agnes has been fighting this whole time to fix what happened to Narende.
I know. I'm sorry.
You've nothing to apologize for.
All of this paints the Duchy in a suspicious light, don't you think? Perhaps they know more of the chasm's true cause than they let on.
I cannot imagine we've seen the last of them. If any of you wish to go, do it now. I'll not blame you.
I'm staying with you. I just told the king as much.
I'm in as well. I need to see for myself whether my people are right or wrong.
And playing escort is my job. I'll not cede it to anyone.
If none of you will listen to reason...
This is so exciting, Agnes! You're finally headed back to the Wind Crystal side!
Yes, to Anshine, the land of sand and tide, and to the Temple of Wind.
Anshine, the land of sand and time? What?
Like an oasis in a vast desert beyond the sea, we make southeast of here. We've arrived in Anshine. Still no wind.
Are these desert places normally supposed to be windy?
When they're the site of the wind crystal they are, this stillness shouldn't be possible. The wind carried all manner of blessings to this land in days past. It was the kingdom's lifeblood.
I see. All the more reason to hurry then. Which way to the temple?
From here we need only head... we ought to make for... Which way is it? Ignore anything she says. Anya's raises getting lost to an art form.
I'm impressed you made it to Kaldisla.
Just a moment. My journal details much of Ansheim's topography. A clockwork metropolis, nestled in Harina's sandy bosom. Here, time, above all, is sacred. A massive timepiece crowns the kingdom, fueled as all of Ansheim by the ceaseless currents originating from the Temple of Wind to the south.
Quite thorough, isn't it? Sounds as if you've been here before. Perhaps that book of yours is a travel diary?
I do seem possessed of a certain wanderlust. The normal sort as well. Ooh, perhaps I'll find a train of ex-lovers here among the sands.
Let's be off. We make south.
All present, Lord Marshal. Save the usual tune, at least.
No matter. Let's begin.
I trust word has reached you from Kaldisla. The Knights of the Eternian Sky have fallen to the Vestal.
I'd not thought the girl so bloodthirsty as all that.
It appears she surrounded herself with capable guards. What's more, it pains me to say it, but Idia's whereabouts have been lost amid the chaos.
That is no concern of yours. Do not confuse personal matters with your assigned task, Alternus.
My apologies, Lord Marshal.
Not only did the Sky Knights fail, they've given the Vestal wings. Why they didn't simply kill the child, I'll never know.
Keenly insightful as ever, Victoria. Yet I fear we've need of the Vestal alive.
Have we, Victor? Ah, no matter then. If she fled by air, it's a simple matter to track her. She makes for Anshine by necessity.
And to the Temple of Wind. Anshine does face upon the Floorshine Sea.
Of course. Most of the world's seas have gone putrid, but the inner sea remains navigable. That would offer the airship a berth. But what does she aim to do there? Why return to the crystal now? It smells of some sinister plot.
Anshine is the province of the Cammer and Profiteur merchantry. What say you, Lord Marshal?
We haven't the leisure of chasing the Vestal across the globe and back. We need her in custody now. Tell the merchantry to employ any means they must.
Apprehensive Vestal by any means necessary. Seems the Council of Six is growing desperate.
Those were their words. I've relayed them to you. My contract states I'm to receive payment for my troubles from you.
Then your contract is mistaken. I've heard nothing of the sort. Bah, fine. You'll have your fee. But I am taking the small discount. Only fair as a regular customer, eh?
If you must.
Still, this Vestal is quite the little monster, no? To have this Sky Knight so undone. If the margin is high enough, I would tackle a behemoth bare-handed. But until I see a profit, I'll not move an inch. Business is business, yes?
Silence, one and all! Your king, Camar the Eighth, speaks!
My people, I thank you for your tireless efforts. As you are well aware, our glorious nation's production has suffered a harsh fall since the wind's cessation brought the Grand Mill to a halt. Without nature's former bounty, our turbines went completely still. They sit as silent as the desert night. In the wake of this crisis, you rose up and took matters literally in hand, operating the turbines manually. I, your king, lack words to thank you for your hard work. However, I am much aggrieved to say that energy production is less than 1/5 its former total. At this rate, our proud kingdom, renowned for its unparalleled industry, is doomed to ineluctable decline. I find myself without recourse but to revisit my prior fiat regarding the schedule of all able-bodied citizens. Henceforth, labor shall commence at 0900 hours and will extend beyond the current 1659 until 2059, effective immediately.
What? We're flesh and blood! We need rest!
In so doing, turbine output is expected to rise to 30% of its former value before the wind.
Your Majesty! Your Majesty! Grave news!
What? The Vestal? Be calm, my children. I know your pain all too well. My heart bleeds just as yours. But I ask that you join me in remembering the cause of our woes. The Crystal Orthodoxy and the Vestal's indolence. Therein lies the true cause of the wind's absence. And what has the Great Vestal done since the air went still? What did she do in the face of your suffering? She abandoned you, fled the country to save herself alone. In this, Ansheim's first and direst hour of need, the Vestal we loved and trusted is powerless or unwilling to help. Though it pains me deeply to tell you of these things, I cannot deny this simple truth. What resolution can be brought about to this terrible crisis? The Crystal Orthodoxy is naught but a hollow creed. What result have years of worship at the altar of the Crystal brought us? Once more I say it. It is by our own hands that we shall push this glorious kingdom ever forward. Onward to still greater glory!
There! Just now that leer! That was aimed at us!
Seems that little speech was for your benefit, Agnes.
It's slander is what it is. That creep's giving you no chance at all to defend yourself.
Agnes,
Omnius oblige, Vestal of Wind. His Majesty bids you come.
I see you've returned, Vestal. Why then did you not come to me for an audience immediately? I was dreadfully worried, you know. I'd begun to think you'd fallen victim to some terrible accident. So, what of the Caldicilan Castle?
I fear it was worse even than your Majesty had imagined.
So tell me, was it worse than the state of your own nation? Are you even aware of the situation here?
The wind remains still.
And the Grand Mill be calm. I'm pleased to see you're not totally ignorant. The turbines that form the heart of this kingdom, the greatest symbols of her wisdom, now turn my hand. The hands of our citizens, compulsory labor service. Our survival hinges now upon their sacrifice. And even that will not last forever. We need that mill turning again soon. Not by our citizens' hands, but by the wind. And whose job is it to see that the wind blows, if not the Vestals? I can think of no other value you provide, save that. Anyway, will you now end the suffering your negligence has caused to this land, to its people? Or is that beyond your abilities? Perhaps you would sooner run again, turn away from the plight of your people.
If that is all His Majesty wished to say, I'll be on my way. I haven't the time to waste here.
What? I'll not be spoken to like this! Just whose fault do you think this mess is, girl?
That could have gone better. Not that I blame you for getting mad.
Mad? I felt no anger. Only fear. The king frightens me.
His tone was far from pleasant, but he didn't seem dangerous.
The people who had come to hear him speak frightened me the same. Everyone in this city. They see me only as the Vestal, not a human being. I don't know how to speak to them. Just thinking on it sets my legs to trembling.
That explains the tense look you've worn since we've landed here.
Personally, I felt amazing after that little conversation. Did you see his face? It was purple. I nearly laughed out loud.
I tuned him out about halfway through his speech myself. I never did have much attention span for listening to men go on. Now women...
In any case, we'd best hurry to the temple. It's all that I can do.
Good day! I believe this is our first meeting, yes? Erutis Profiteur, chairman of the Camera and Profiteur Merchantry, at your service. How kind of you to pay me this visit. Now, what is it you are needing today? We are the only purveyor of water licensed by the king himself, and we take pride in our product. No effort is spared in providing the cleanest, freshest water possible. The results are clear. Water humor, yes? But I have lost the time again. I have appointments waiting, my friends. Let us speak again soon. Guard! Our honored guests are leave. Have a refreshing day.
Feeling parched. Can we stop for a drink of water?
You, stop! This well is property of the Camera and Profiteur Merchantry. Unauthorized withdrawals are strictly prohibited.
Withdrawals? There are people out here going thirsty!
No! There are peasants going thirsty. If you want a free drink so badly, go join the other rabble at the Oasis.